Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in life when you realize that the world doesn't treat you according to who you are, but according to who you believe you are. The energy you project, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room, it all speaks before you even utter a single word. Acting as if you are the best is not arrogance, it is self-belief. It's not about thinking others are less. It's about knowing that you are not less than anyone. When you start living with that mindset, the world begins to see you differently. Opportunities that once ignored you start gravitating toward you. People who once doubted you start watching in silence as you rise. The moment you act as if you are the best, you start becoming the best version of yourself, because confidence is the bridge between dreams and reality. Confidence is not a gift, it's a decision. Confidence is not something that is handed to you by the world. It is something you build quietly when no one is watching, in those lonely nights when doubt whispers louder than your dreams. It's not about standing in front of a mirror and pretending to feel powerful. It's about looking into your own eyes and deciding that no matter how many times you've been told you're not enough, you will still rise. Confidence is the voice that trembles but still speaks, the heart that fears but still beats strong. It's not an inherited trait, it's a chosen armor. Confidence is born the day you stop seeking permission to be yourself. So many people wait for approval before they begin, as if the world must nod before they take a step. But confidence doesn't wait, it moves first. It is the art of trusting yourself, even when you have no evidence that you can win. It is looking at the mirror and saying, I might not be where I want to be, but I am already someone worth believing in. Confidence is not loud. It is quiet power. It is calm assurance. It is grace under pressure. You become confident when you stop defining yourself by moments of failure. The world may laugh when you stumble, but the brave ones turn those stumbles into rhythm. The more you fall, the more you learn how to rise. Every scar becomes a symbol of survival. Every mistake becomes proof of effort. Confidence is not about never being broken. It's about standing proudly with all your cracks, knowing they shine like gold in the sunlight of growth. Confidence is a decision you make every morning. It's when you choose to wear courage instead of fear, self-respect instead of self-doubt. It's when you decide that no one's opinion can rewrite your story. The world can underestimate you, but it can't define you. Because confidence is not about being the best in the room. It's about knowing you deserve to be in the room. Confidence means walking through rejection with your head high. It means understanding that no doesn't mean never. It's realizing that closed doors aren't rejections, they're redirections. When you start believing that life is not happening to you but for you, confidence flows naturally. You stop shrinking yourself to fit in, and you start expanding to stand out. You begin to see yourself not as a victim of circumstances, but as a warrior of possibilities. Confidence blooms when you accept your flaws without apology. You stop hiding the parts of you that once made you insecure. You start to realize that the things you thought made you imperfect actually make you real. Confidence is not the absence of insecurity, it is the mastery of it. You own your story so deeply that no one can use it against you. You speak with honesty, walk with certainty, and live with dignity. And one day, you'll realize that confidence was never about pretending to be someone else. It was about finally allowing yourself to be everything you already are. The moment you decide that you are enough, everything changes, not because the world changed, but because your belief did. Stop competing. Start believing. We live in a world where everyone is trying to run faster than the other, forgetting that speed doesn't matter when you're running in the wrong direction. Comparison kills more dreams than failure ever will. The moment you stop competing with others, you free yourself from a race that was never yours. Acting as if you are the best doesn't mean proving others wrong. It means proving to yourself that you are right about who you are. You start realizing that life is not about being better than anyone, it's about being better than you were yesterday. Belief is the foundation upon which every extraordinary life is built. When you believe in your worth, you stop chasing validation. You stop looking for approval in the eyes of others because you find peace in your own reflection. The truth is, belief is stronger than talent, louder than fear, and deeper than logic. When you believe you are capable, you start creating evidence of that belief in every action you take. Your energy shifts, your voice strengthens, your presence transforms. Competition feeds ego, belief feeds purpose. When you operate from belief, you don't need to push others down to rise. You rise naturally because you're aligned with your calling. The moment you stop focusing on what others are doing, your creativity blooms. You see possibilities instead of limitations. You stop asking, why them? And start saying, my time is coming too. Belief gives birth to patience, and patience turns dreams into reality. The day you stop competing, peace finds you. You no longer see people as threats, but as reminders of what's possible. You understand that their success doesn't mean your failure. It means proof that the climb is possible. The universe has infinite room for greatness. Your shine doesn't dim anyone else's. You start to cheer for others genuinely because you're no longer afraid of losing. You know that what's meant for you will never miss you. Believing in yourself means standing firm when doubt surrounds you. It's continuing to plant seeds of effort even when you see no results yet. It's having faith in the unseen, trusting that the soil beneath you is preparing your growth. Belief is not a feeling, it's a choice you renew every single day. Even when the world says you can't, belief whispers softly, watch me. When you stop competing, your energy changes. You begin to attract peace instead of pressure. You start to realize that real success is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. Belief allows you to move gracefully, to work silently, and to rise powerfully. You stop rushing because you understand that what is yours won't pass you by. You start focusing on building, not battling. And in the end, you realize that you were never in competition with anyone. The only person you needed to overcome was the version of you who doubted, hesitated, and feared. The victory was never against them, it was always within you. Walk with energy that speaks before words. There's a kind of power that doesn't come from titles, wealth, or applause. It comes from energy, that invisible force that enters the room before you do. Acting as if you are the best means owning your energy. It's walking with purpose, with grace, and with certainty that you belong. People may not remember what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that feeling begins with how you see yourself. Energy is not about pretending to be strong. It's about carrying the light that comes from self-respect. When you know your worth, your silence becomes powerful. You no longer chase validation because your energy speaks louder than your words. You walk with quiet confidence, not because you have everything figured out, but because you trust yourself enough to figure it out on the way. That energy draws opportunities, connections, and miracles toward you. You become magnetic when you carry yourself like you belong everywhere you step. The world treats you according to the frequency you emit. When you vibrate with doubt, you attract uncertainty. But when you vibrate with confidence, everything aligns in your favor. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. Awareness of your value, your strength, and your ability to create impact. You no longer wait for the world to validate you. You validate yourself with every move you make. Energy also means resilience. It means showing up even when your heart is heavy. It means smiling through storms, not because life is easy, but because you refuse to give up. When you carry positive energy, people can feel it. They feel hope around you. You become a walking reminder that no pain is permanent and no dream is too distant. You shine not because you've never been broken, but because you learn how to glow through the cracks. When your energy changes, your life changes. You stop needing attention and start attracting respect. You stop proving your worth and start living it. You begin to understand that true power doesn't come from what you do, it comes from who you are when no one's watching. That authenticity becomes your aura. That integrity becomes your identity. And the world begins to respond differently to you. Carrying powerful energy also means protecting it. You learn to walk away from negativity without explanation. You stop explaining your peace to people who thrive on chaos. You understand that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. You give, but wisely. You help, but not at the cost of your peace. You love, but not to the point of losing yourself. And when your energy finally matches your purpose, something beautiful happens. You no longer walk into rooms trying to impress, you walk in ready to impact. You don't chase light anymore because you've become it. Failures don't define your mindset. Thus, failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the journey that shapes it. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable has walked through moments of deep defeat, moments when quitting seemed easier than standing again. But those who rise again understand one truth: their mindset decides whether they stay broken or become unbreakable. Acting as if you are the best doesn't mean you never fail. It means you never let failure define your worth. You realize that setbacks are not the end of the story. They are merely pauses meant for transformation. Mindset is what determines whether a challenge breaks you or builds you. When you have a strong mindset, every loss becomes a lesson, every rejection becomes redirection. You stop asking why me and start saying try me. That's the shift that separates survivors from warriors. Your mindset gives you the courage to see beauty even in the ruins. It allows you to walk through the fire and come out shining brighter, not burned. When you believe that everything happens for a reason, even pain becomes sacred. Even failure becomes a teacher. Those who let failure define them start living in fear of trying again. But those who redefine failure use it as fuel. The world may see your downfall as defeat, but you see it as development. The difference lies in how you think. A powerful mindset doesn't seek comfort. It seeks growth. You start embracing the storms because you know calm seas never create strong sailors. Failure doesn't stop your destiny. It shapes your strength to handle it. There will be days when life tests your patience, when nothing goes right, no matter how hard you try. In those moments, your mindset becomes your anchor. It reminds you that pain is temporary, that wounds heal, and that tomorrow always holds another chance. A strong mindset whispers hope when everything else is silent. It reminds you that you are not defined by what went wrong, but by how you responded to it. You are not the product of your past, you are the creator of your next chapter. Having the right mindset also means forgiving yourself. Too often we carry guilt like armor, thinking it will protect us from future mistakes. But forgiveness frees you. It allows you to rise again without the weight of yesterday pulling you down. When you forgive yourself for falling, you make space to climb higher. Growth is never about perfection, it's about persistence. Every scar becomes a symbol of the battles you've survived with grace. A strong mindset turns pain into purpose. It allows you to speak from your scars instead of your wounds. It transforms every disappointment into direction. You stop blaming circumstances and start taking ownership of your story. You stop seeing failure as a wall and start seeing it as a bridge. And in that shift, something magical happens. You begin to see how unstoppable you truly are. And when you finally rise after falling countless times, you realize that failure never defined you, your resilience did. The world sees your success, but only you know the strength it took to rebuild every time you fell apart. That is the power of a mindset that refuses to give up. No matter how many times life says, no, you were born to lead, not follow. You were not born to walk in the footsteps of others. You were born to create your own path. Leadership begins the day you stop waiting for someone to tell you who you are. Acting as if you are the best means leading yourself before you ever lead anyone else. It means making choices that align with your values, even when no one claps for you. The greatest leaders were once people who decided that they would no longer let fear control their direction. Leadership is not about power, it's about presence. The presence to stand firm in your truth. When you understand that you were born to lead, you stop imitating others. You start listening to your inner voice, that quiet guide that whispers your calling even when the world shouts otherwise. You realize that following the crowd may bring comfort, but it will never bring greatness. Leadership requires courage. The courage to be misunderstood, to stand alone, and to keep walking when others stop. You don't need to be loud to lead. Sometimes your consistency becomes the loudest message of all. Leading yourself means being disciplined even when motivation fades. It means doing the hard things when no one is watching. The world doesn't need more followers of trends. It needs more creators of change. You become a leader when your purpose becomes greater than your fear. You start making decisions not from insecurity but from intention. You stop seeking validation and start seeking impact. You begin to understand that leadership is not about controlling others. It's about inspiring them through the way you live. Leaders are not born perfect. They are built through pain. Every failure, every rejection, every setback is shaping your leadership. It's teaching you empathy, humility, and strength. It's teaching you how to guide others with understanding, not ego. You learn that true leaders don't walk ahead of people, they walk beside them. They don't demand respect, they earn it through authenticity. You were never meant to hide your light. You were meant to shine so that others could find their way too. Leadership also means responsibility, the responsibility to be the example you once searched for. It's easy to talk about change. It's harder to embody it, but you were born to embody it. You lead by how you react to pressure, by how you treat people, by how you rise after every fall. People may not always listen to your words, but they will always watch your actions. Your strength becomes their hope. Your faith becomes their reminder. Your resilience becomes their permission to try again. When you embrace your role as a leader, you stop fearing solitude. You understand that isolation often comes before elevation. You stop needing everyone to agree with you because you trust the direction of your purpose. Leaders don't wait for the world to give them a seat at the table, they build their own. You start walking with certainty, not because the path is clear, but because your vision is strong enough to guide you through the fog. And one day, you'll look back and realize you were never just trying to be the best, you were becoming the kind of person who makes others believe they can be their best too. That's leadership in its truest form, not commanding, but empowering. Not standing above, but standing tall. You were never meant to follow footsteps, you were meant to leave your own trail of light for others to find. In the end, when you learn to act as if you are the best, you stop waiting for the world to recognize your worth. You begin to live like someone who already knows it. This mindset is not arrogance, it is awakening. It's about realizing that no one is better than you, because no one carries your fire, your scars, your lessons, or your heart. You stop walking like a question mark and start walking like an exclamation, certain, grounded, and alive. Life begins to shift the moment you understand that your energy defines your experience. You start attracting respect, opportunities, and miracles not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. You decided to act like the best version of yourself long before the world confirmed it. When you carry yourself with confidence, when you stop competing and start believing, when your energy speaks louder than your fear, and when your mindset transforms failure into fuel, you become unstoppable. You realize that leadership was never about standing above anyone, but about standing fully in your truth. You stop playing small to make others comfortable and start walking as if you were always meant to be great. Acting as if you are the best is not a performance. It is a declaration that you are no longer afraid to live boldly. The world bows to the energy of self-belief, and when you start living from that place, life doesn't just respond, it rises to meet you.